Welcome and hello to the DPT-TV, the prevention program of the German Prevention Congress. As usual, on Wednesdays at 11 a.m., we shall begin with 10 minutes of German Prevention Congress news and the presentations from our Congress program. The police crime prevention program of the Länder and the Federation has already been part of our broadcast once or twice. Since for over 25 years, this program called ProPK and the German Prevention Congress have been closely connected in a successful partnership. On the 30th of June, ProPK now celebrated its 50th anniversary. Erich Marx was on site in Stuttgart and spoke with Dr. Stephanie Hinz, among others. She is the state police chief and chairperson of the ProPK program management and showed us the central work priorities and developments of police crime prevention in Germany. Well, I would say that if we hadn't actually launched ProPK in 1972, we would have to create it now. I think that we can really look back on a 50-year success story where the police forces of the Länder have actually joined forces in the field of prevention, have come up with good ideas, good plans, but of course also taking up current issues again and again. And you can see that we have long-running issues such as the topic of home burglary that keep happening, but also very current topics such as the fight against child pornography. And furthermore, as far as our media presence is concerned, we have developed a great deal together over the last 50 years. So I think crime prevention is now an integral part of police work and is also appreciated. It is solid, absolutely solid. I don't think anyone would say that we can do without it or that we can cut back on it. Rather the opposite. We actually notice that we need good crime prevention, that we also need contact for direct exchange with target groups, for example, to go to schools, but of course to advise elderly people to be close to the people and the citizens. I believe that no one in the police would want to do without crime prevention in 2022. This means, of course, that we have to continue to be innovative, that we have to look at what topics are coming into focus. Also, as a result of social change, we want to be close to the people. We have to present ourselves accordingly, and we have to formulate our message. We have to give concrete tips on how to protect one from crime, and that means that we also do it in the social media, and that is where a lot will happen in the next few years. Many thanks to Dr. Stephanie Hinz and Erich Marx, and our congratulations to ProPK on its 50th anniversary. Let's move on to the prevention news of the week. Protecting public service workers from violence. In Baden-Württemberg, public sector workers are to be better protected against violence in the future. To this end, several central institutions in Baden-Württemberg have joined forces and drawn up a joint declaration and a package of measures. Among other things, they want to create a situation report on the assaults, sensitize society to the problem, and develop a statewide strategy to counteract violence against public service workers. Nationwide, the diffuse network of cities has recently been increasingly concerned with assaults against elected officials and employees in public administration. The member cities have agreed on guiding principles on how this group of people can be better protected against assaults. Among other things, they deal with the active protection of employees, for example, through organizational, technical, or structural measures, but also with the establishment of reporting centers in the municipalities and corresponding training offers for employees, but also for managers. Next podcast on the prevention of Islamism. If you work in the field of Islamism, democracy promotion, or political education, then the podcast from the Competence Network on Islamist extremism will certainly be of interest to you. In the so-called Nix Talks, various interviewees talk about the prevention and distancing work. You can find more information and the 6 episodes that have been released so far on the website and wherever podcasts are available. Feel free to listen in. Anti-Semitism in Germany. The Federal Association of Research and Information Centers on Anti-Semitism, IAS for short, published its new annual report on the 28th of June on anti-Semitic incidents documented in 2021. Last year, the IAS reporting centers recorded over 2,700 anti-Semitic incidents nationwide, an average of 7 incidents per day. In addition to the statistics, the report also looks at related social and political developments, such as the escalation of the Arab-Israeli conflict. Following up on this, today the following picture without words. In our DPT-Aktuell program on the 15th of June, we already reported on the MOTRA joint project. Today, we have Dr. Uwe Kemmesis as our guest. He heads the research unit on terrorism extremism at the BKA, which coordinates the MOTRA project. Hello, Mr. Kemmesis. For those who have not seen the program, could you briefly outline what MOTRA is about? Yes, MOTRA stands for Monitoring System and Transfer Platform on Radicalization, a joint project of university and non-university research institutions in Germany, funded within the framework of national security research by the Federal Ministry of Education and Research and by the Ministry of the Interior. MOTRA pursues 2 central objectives. On the one hand, the aim is to monitor the radicalization phenomenon in Germany, and the second central objective has the keyword knowledge transfer, also considering the religious and the political aspects. How can we succeed in the future in transferring the knowledge generated in research more directly into the work of policy making and practice? Now, MOTRA has been running since 2019. What is the current status? We can now look back on the successful annual conference held in 2020 and 2021. Despite the pandemic limitations, we have presented the first MOTRA annual report, the MOTRA Monitor 2020. We are currently in the final editing phase for the MOTRA Monitor 2021, which will, for the first time, present comprehensive findings on radicalization, which was particularly focused on the COVID pandemic. We will present the findings from the individual MOTRA sub-modules, and these sub-modules will also be the subject of the presentation at this year's annual conference. It will take place on the 1st and 2nd of September in Wiesbaden. We cordially invite you to take part in this conference. Further information can be found on our homepage, www.motra.info. It would be nice to welcome you in Wiesbaden. Thank you, Dr. Uwe Kemmesis, and we wish you continued success with this exciting project. And now, as always, here are the lectures and practical impulses from the program of the DPT Annual Congress. You will see the program overview in a moment. Today, we will be talking about hate comments, criminal law on terrorism, a coaching program for parents in custody, so-called youth conflict management, and also about the design of public spaces and why training is needed. In the practical impulse, we'll deal specifically with prevention in nightlife. For the last 2 contributions, we will also offer simultaneous translation into English. Have an interesting exchange. See you next week.